must be right. Which was one of their trivia questions, which I didn't know. I thought it, anyway, never mind what I thought. It would have been silly. So I'm going to introduce Debbie, who's going to introduce our program, and I'll take it back over at 5 till the next hour, and we'll wrap her up.
Thank you, Chris. So it's a pleasure for Zoe and I to be here today. This is just as much Zoe's program, if not more than mine. Zoe's kicked back in her bedroom, propped up against a pillow, I think. Good for you, Zoe. Zoe's going to be our tech expert today. She and I have put together a PowerPoint to share with you all of the ongoings of Interact around the world. So I hope what you take away from our talk today is how amazing our youth around the world is. Particularly, I'm biased to our local youth here in Eugene. Particularly in today's times, I'll tell you what, these students offer me so much hope. And I think maybe Nancy and Randy and Chris saw that yesterday at our Interact meeting. And so I hope today you take away that we're going to be okay in 10 years when all of these students are teachers and doctors and lawyers and accountants and moms and dads. We're in good hands. We've got some amazing youth. So Zoe, I'm going to ask you to share your screen. And Zoe and I are going to do a tag team approach. I'm going to talk a lot about district and national stuff, and Zoe's going to keep it real with local efforts. So we titled our talk today, Interact Week 2020 COVID style. So we are definitely trying to make lemonade out of the lemons of this year. And I'll tell you what, Chris, you're right. We can still do a lot of volunteer work in a COVID land. And I think today you're going to be inspired by the work that our students are doing. So today we are your speakers. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Debbie. I'm the Interact Advisor for South Eugene High School. I'm also District 51 Interact Chairperson. So that means with all of the high schools in our district, I get the opportunity to work with each one of them to further Interact's mission. And Zoe, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Zoe. I'm the community liaison for the South Eugene Interact Club. And then I'm also on the Interact committee board for the district. Yeah, so first we have some statistics about Interact across the world. So the overall goal is to bring young people together and develop leadership skills through community service projects. And across the world, there are 14,911 Interact clubs, about 350,000 interactors, and 145 countries have Interact clubs. And then our top 10 countries are over here highlighted in yellow, with India having the most Interact clubs at about 700 or 7,500. And then United States and Philippines coming in the second and third places. Yeah.
One thing we do talk about with the students, and actually the students have expressed it to me, is how cool it is to know that you're a part of something so global. And I think as Rotarians, we all feel that, but I think it's super great that high school students have that entry point to know that they have friends around the world and they're part of something bigger than themselves. India is doing some really neat work. We're going to show a video here in a minute. India, it's called the Seed Balls Project. It was an environmental project that they decided to create a way to create more trees in their community. This is a quick video. Zoe's going to start it for us. There is only music, so they're telling a story through video.
Yeah.
Wasn't that great? So our students around the world are doing a lot of unique service projects and making an impact in their communities and their world in which they see the need. And this is what was needed in India. Another area in the country that is doing some really great work. Zoe, can you cue up the next slide for me?
Yeah, hang on.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, second country to highlight, Brazil. So a couple of years back, there was a social media game called Blue Whale, and it encouraged teens to commit suicide, basically. So when that trend hit Brazil, Gabriel Kendry, an interactor, he's right there, from Brazil, decided to create a social media game called White Whale that promotes self-care and positivity in teens by having them do challenges that promote that, and to help them find value in like themselves and their actions to prevent them from committing suicide. So he made that program, and then him and his Interact Club made a Facebook page and printed out brochures and handed them out and spread the word in the area. And they reached about 30,000 people through Facebook to help stop these suicides. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Thanks, Zoe.
That's him. And that's their Facebook page.
And Brazil, as you guys remember, Guy is from Brazil. So this is a project that's close to one of our exchange students that was here 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Another area in the country that's doing really unique things is Canada, just up north. They won what's called the Interact Awards. We have Interact Awards, Global Interact Video Awards. Schools can submit a video or submit an essay on what they're doing, and the deadline is the first week of December. So a few years ago, Canada won this. They are doing a lot of great work. One thing that is one of their signature projects, which is similar to what we know as Festival of the Trees. There are groups within their area, nonprofits, so to speak, and they set up these trees. They transform City Hall at Christmas time with trees of causes, and all the money goes back to their club. They also are raising money up there for polio. So they have an ice skating program where you sponsor laps around the ice rink. And actually our Interact group is thinking of doing that with steps, kind of to model what you guys are doing. They also had a huge presence at the Model UN, which was kicked off in San Diego a few years ago, and you have to be selected to go to that. And so there are some ambassadors for peace coming from Canada into the United States to be a part of that program. They've also collected over 1,100 cans of food for their local food bank. And in addition, several students were selected to go to South Africa to build baby clinics and daycares. So I hope you can see that there are different flavors of what kids are doing around the world with what is important to them and where they have the support and how they want to make a difference. I also really, really want to hit home that all of our students around the world, particularly those that I know locally, they are the thought behind this. They're the ones inventing the projects. They're the ones doing the projects. So it's not some adults coming down and saying, you have to do this. So our students lead the charge on this. And as advisors, we get to kind of just shape and hold boundaries for them. But keep in mind, all these inventive ideas come from 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. That's huge. That's awesome. So that leads us into a more local area. So this year we have 3 initiatives with District 51 Interact. Usually interactors raise money every year to go to an international program, but this year the committee decided that they wanted to raise money and keep it local for the Fire Relief Fund. So as you all know, District 5110 has launched the Fire Relief Fund. So our students are going to raise money and contribute to that effort in lieu of doing an international trip. Also, this will be the first ever virtual district training assembly, which will be on January 23rd for 3 hours. Usually this is an event that's held in Cottage Grove for a weekend, like a camp. Obviously we can't do that. So I just thought, hell no, we're still going to do it in a COVID land. So we're doing the district training assembly. The students have chosen diversity and inclusion as a speaking topic, as well as global climate change. And I failed to add one more on here. It's a 3-part series. The emergency preparedness should be that 3rd bullet. And then lastly, one's kind of pending. We'd like to do a fire relief service trip. Cindy, our district governor, had a good suggestion of replanting trees. So this is COVID dependent, depending on where we're at, but the vision is to take a week-long trip, drive around our district via a couple buses or whatever that's going to look like. In a perfect world, we'd love to stay with Rotarians, but I think that's not going to happen because of COVID. But anyways, the kids want to contribute. How can we build back? Are there playgrounds that got burned down? Are there things that we can do to make a difference in our district? The plea I have for this club, if you know of speakers in areas of global climate change or emergency preparedness, I would love those leads. I've got diversity and inclusion covered, but I still need speakers in those areas. So that's a side plug. Okay, on with the presentation. One area, so our district we have several schools that are really trying very hard in the COVID world to still give back. One highlight is Elmira, that's out in Fern Ridge, excuse me. They dedicated 2 years ago 3 acres of their school property to create a farm, food for natural sustainability. They actually recently got a grant for $91,000 through the Oregon Department of Education Farm to School program. So this is their only project. So just like nationally, some interactors choose to just do one project. Some, like Canada and our club, we choose to have multiple avenues in which we serve. This is pretty impressive. Their community is growing and thriving, and it's teaching students healthy eating. It's helping students give back and feed their community. And in times like this, it's a wonderful, wonderful project. Also, Grants Pass is doing amazing work. There are 4 high schools down in Grants Pass, and together they raised over $10,000 for the Thirst Project, which is a global project in building wells around the world. They have put so much commitment and effort into this in the Thirst Project that Thirst Project identified 4 students from the Grants Pass area to, all expenses paid, fly down to South Africa to help install a well. That was supposed to happen in summertime, so it didn't. COVID kept that from happening, but they're still on deck when COVID lifts that they could travel to Africa to do that. So again, I'm going to hit home this point. How amazing are these students? We have teenagers flying to other countries to serve. I can't impress upon you enough how important it is that our teens have these experiences to learn to give back, to do service above self. So that's a little bit of a flavor of our district, and Zoe's going to take it away with the awesome work we're doing here locally.
Yeah, so now this is all about the South Eugene Club. So we meet Wednesdays, and we usually have 20 students show up to the meetings, and we have about 40 students in total working on all of our projects. Our board is made of 7 members. That picture is of us, minus Lyra, at the summer retreat we did at Debbie's house. And then for total, the board puts about 30 hours a week for working on like Rotary stuff. Yeah, like in total. And then because we had to put our website in here somewhere, our fun fact is we have a very cool website. It's put together over the summer by Allie. She's like over there-ish in the photo. Michael and Eddie. So 3 of our interactors. So yeah, if you ever want to check that out, that has like full list of our projects and a bunch of information about us. Yeah.
I had to chuckle about that website because I think for most people on the phone, maybe not Deanna, creating a website seems like a very huge, daunting thing to me. and these 3 were able to like, hey, Debbie, here's a rough draft after like a week. And it really is an amazing site. So go to it.
Yeah, they did a really good job. It looks cool. It looks modern.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a couple projects we wanted to highlight. Our 2019 project was the Beauty and the Beast project. So we worked with the Eugene Actors Cabaret to put on 2 free showings of the Beauty and the Beast and we invited 200 guests from low-income families by reaching out to different local organizations that work with those families like the Annex and First Place. We also fundraised $1,500 as like a thank you to the Eugene Actors Cabaret. And we put together 200 gift bags for the guests to take home. Our 2020 project highlight is our online tutoring program. So over the summer, Walker, one of the board members, headed up a committee, and we put together a way to tutor elementary through middle school kids in their classes through Zoom. So it was safe and accessible. And all of our tutors are South interactors. And it offers them a way to get safe and flexible volunteer hours when a lot of our opportunities for that have been limited. And currently we have 23 tutors signed up, and we're tutoring 34 kids from the 4J districts. So yeah, that one's going well. And that one's one that we are still building on and doing.
And that's also one, I'm just going to interject real quick, Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
We're having Walker speak at a district meeting to all of us on Tuesday, because Mary, she's the youth service director for our district, is so impressed with what South is doing in this program. She and I have a mission of rolling this out district wide. So we're going to have that meeting on Tuesday night. So hopefully, we had 40 kids. Some kids graduate and don't need a tutor anymore. So our numbers do jump between, I think our highest was 40. But I really hope not only does this help our high school students, it also helps parents that are just got too much going on at home, and just to have an hour of their kid have a peer tutoring is amazing. So it's a really impressive program.
Yeah. And then here we have our full projects list. This from I think everything including 2018 to 2020. I'm not going to go through them all, but I will highlight my favorite one is the birthday party project. That one we work with the annex and we throw seasonal birthday parties for the kids there. This year we can't go in and hold a birthday party, so we're going to do a birthday parade. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That should be happening in a week and a half. So yeah.
The part of the decision for the birthday party project was that a lot of our homeless youth, some of them aren't even recognized or have a birth date that is honored. Some do, but don't have parties or celebrations around it. So our students wanted those students and those kiddos to celebrate who they are. So Zoe started this project, and she has identified, working with the leaders of the annex, that how many kids' birthdays are happening within a 2-month period of time. Zoe finds a cake, gets a cake usually donated. We put names on it. This year, she's going to be decorating cars with the birthday party committee. But we've heard such great feedback about how these little kiddos feel so special that someone is throwing a party for them.
Yeah, and then one more thing I wanted to highlight, our international project is sponsoring Probina through Mexico Choir. So we pay money, and that helps her with education, right, and some medical stuff. And this is her, that's Probina. She is from Peru, but she's going to college in Nepal right now. So yeah, that's cool.
And she stays in great contact, all of us do. So we have a letter writing party, so to speak, probably once every 6 to 8 weeks. And Probina sends one in return, and we just got one recently from Probina. So it's been a really fun exchange of, and I think Probina might be going on to Rotary. So that is a super cool fact too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then here's our gallery, and we wanted to open up to see if there was any questions.
Yeah, this is Ron. Debbie, can you back up the slides? There was one I find, unless I misread it, it looked like it said white whale encourages suicide or something like that.
Yeah, so in Brazil, so Blue Whale is like a social media game that encourages suicide. It supposedly started in Russia. It's linked to 130 deaths. But yeah, it sends teenagers challenges to do. And then over the course of 50 challenges, they're encouraged to harm themselves and then take their own life. Not a good thing. Is this
an awareness of danger or something that is being emphasized here?
Whale, the game that Gabriel created to combat that sends teenagers challenges to like take care of themselves and take care of others to try and combat the harmful effects of the blue whale game.
All right, so it's to combat the blue whale. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Other questions?
I don't have a question, but I would just like to commend you enormously, Debbie and Zoe and Allie and all of the kids in the club for the amazing stuff that you're doing. I just applaud you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We have a good time, don't we, Zoe?
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a labor of love. Thank you for saying that, Susie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would just say ditto to that, as I'm sure everybody in the group feels that same way. And especially now, uncertain times, like you said at the beginning, Debbie, this gives us such hope to see these young people doing the things that they're doing. It just, it takes away your anxiety about the future. It really
Totally, Nancy, 100, yep.
Yeah.
Very inspiring.
Thanks, Leslie.
Okay, I think that brings us, if there's no more questions, to our last slide. Debbie, do you wanna?
Sure.
Okay.
Of course, leave on a fundraising note. I'm sure Jean Stover's smiling. Anyway, so as you guys know, every fall we have a bake sale at our club meeting, and all of you have always been so generous of giving cash what you have and taking a few cookies. And it's actually our second largest fundraiser. And so our fundraising committee, we were trying to think, how are we going to do this? Let's do it virtually. So we invented this the other day. We would like you to submit orders for your holidays, and our students will make your dessert for your holiday dinner. So you can order, we're going to wrap, of course, COVID safe. We have a whole system that we're going to be doing to keep food safe. We'll wrap 6 of them together. And so you can order like half a dozen or, you know, a lot of dozens. So we have one volunteer that is only willing to bake 3 pies because she is so busy, and I'm like, don't overextend, do it only what you can do. So she's like, I got 3 in me. So how we're going to do this is through the club, I am the person that handles all money. So we just thought we'd keep orders with me, and then you can come pick them up at my house, or I can deliver them to you. So I would need your orders by November 18th. And then there'll be a window of time on the 24th that you can come by and pick up the stuff. Just like as we do at Rotary Club, this is whatever you think it's worth that we'll accept for that. And then the menu is, here's what our students will make. So either chocolate chip, sugar, snickerdoodle, oatmeal raisin. And also, actually, my nieces are wanting to bake the lemon cookies. We have brownies, Rice Krispies, like I said, 2 pumpkin pies, and 4 French apple cakes. So Chris, I think I might get you this. Maybe we could send it out in a P-mail, or maybe you and I can talk offline the best way to get this to membership.
Well, for one thing, if you have a PDF of it, or even just the slide, send it to Christy. Let's get it in the spinoff. That's okay. An easy peasy thing.
Yeah. I can get a PDF of the slide.
Say that again.
I can get a PDF of the slide so you can get it out.
And I would put a couple of pictures of something that makes your mouth water.
Sounds good.
Yep. And Christy will be glad to put it in the spinoff. And I think that's the best way to get your message in front of the membership. And you know, make it real easy on them to follow through. Give them the how do I get a hold of you to do it information. And
perfect. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Anything else though, we're here for you. That sounds wonderful. French apple cakes, yummy.
So Zoe, can you stop a screen share?
Yeah.